Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about the pop Q classification. So this is the most important topic of the gynecology. And what is pop Q? The pop Q is basically the pelvic organ prolapse quantification. Whenever there is a genital prolapse, we use the Shaw system for the classification and create the prolapse, but it is subjective method. So POPQ system, it developed to make the classification more objective. In POPQ system, it is based on the reference point. So what is the reference point? Here the reference point is the hymen. Suppose this is a hymen, and anything which is above the hymen will be graded as -3, such that it -3 is equal to -3 centimeter, and below will be in the positive values in the +3 centimeter. So such that this is above 3 centimeter above the hymen, and this is 3 centimeter below the hymen. POPQ classification system is based on 3x3 grid. And each value is fixed, and you cannot interchange the boxes and the values. So you have to memorize it like this, and in order to memorize it easily, just remember it as A point, B and C. This is A, B and D. This is G, P and T. So what is A? This row belongs to the anterior wall of the vagina, and this row belongs to the posterior wall of the vagina. So here this is the point A in the anterior wall of the vagina, this is point B in the anterior wall of the vagina, and this is A in the posterior wall of the vagina, and this is B in the posterior wall of the vagina, and this is GH is the genital hiatus, P is the perineal body, and T is the total vaginal length. C is the cervix, and D is the posterior furnace. This D is related to the posterior furnace, and this C is related to the cervix. And cervix, it is the most distal part of the cervix to the hymen. So in order to easily memorize this part, you can memorize this and memorize the whole grid as such. Now each of the box in the grids are the fixed. Now what are these points? First we will discuss a middle row, which was GPT, and for that we need a diagram. This is the simple most diagram. This is the bladder, and this is the uterus, and this is the rectum. Okay, this is a simple most diagram, and here we will see the middle row first, the genital hiatus, the G point, which was the genital hiatus, and this was the from the mid of the external urinary meatus to the posterior of the hymen, or you can say the posterior faucet. And now the perineal body, it is from the posterior part of the hymen to the mid of the anus, this area, mid of the anus. So this was the genital hiatus, this area was the genital hiatus, and this is the perineal body. Okay, now from the posterior fornix till the hymen, this is the total vaginal length. Okay, now let's move the forward. Again, after having understanding the 3 points, the G, P and T, now coming to the fixed points, which were A, B, C and D. For that we again need a diagram, the most simple one. This is the urinary bladder and this is the uterus, this is the vagina and this is the rectum. Now AA, the first point is the AA. This is a fixed point on the anterior vaginal wall. This is a fixed point on the anterior vaginal wall, which is 3 cm proximal to the external urethral meatus. And why this is 3 cm fixed? Because in the normal anatomical position it corresponds to the uretrovesical junction. Similarly, a point which is 3 cm proximal to the hymen in the posterior vaginal wall will be the point AP. Okay, now as these are the fixed points, they should be memorized firstly, and you should measure them firstly, and then after you should the prolapse should be reduced first, and then these points they must be marked on the anterior vaginal wall and as AA and on the posterior vaginal wall as AP, and then ask the patient to cuff and then to see the relationship of the points with the prolapse. And now what is B? Now move towards the B. The B, it is the most distal part of the prolapse, which is related to the hymen. And like in this diagram, we see that the prolapse is the most distal part of the prolapse is this. So in the anterior vaginal wall, this will be BA, and in the posterior vaginal wall, this will be the BP. Okay. Now, like in this diagram, this is the known prolapsed uterus. Here the point AA is equal to point BA and BP is equal to AP. So you can say that these all points, they are coinciding each other, and as we have previously discussed that everything which is above the hymen will be represented in -3, so these all are equal to the -3 cm. Okay, now if there is prolapse, we have seen that the AA is equal to 3 cm. Again, we can again have the diagram. This is the bladder, this is vagina, this is uterus, and this is the rectum. Okay, here we see that this AA, it is -3. This AA, it is -3, and when it get prolapsed, it can only become +3. Okay, similarly this AP, it can only go into the +3. Okay, as these are the fixed points, you have to memorize all these points. Now again, we will again have this simple diagram. This is bladder, this is uterus, and this is vagina, and this is rectum. Now we were left with the point C and point D. Here we will see what is the point C. The point C represents the cervix, and it is the distance of the cervix towards the hymen. And now the point D, this is the posterior fornix, the point D, and it is the length of the from posterior fornix to the hymen. C is the leading part, and it represents with the hymen, and you have to measure it from the leading part of the cervix to the hymen. Similarly, the D, it is the relation of the posterior fornix to the hymen, and these are all the fixed points, so you can memorize it. In that, after that, this pop Q scoring will be very easy for you. Now we should take an example. Look, again a very simple example, and such that if there is no prolapse, then AA will be -3 and AP will be -3. We have discussed this previously, and B will be coinciding it, that B and BP will be again -3. We have discussed it. Now, if the patient is hysterectomized, then there will be one value we don't write, and that is the point D. Rest all of them are similar, and you can memorize it. Okay, again a very simple diagram. This is bladder, this is uterus, and this is rectum. And sorry, this patient is hysterectomized, so there will be no uterus. Okay, it will be like that. There is no uterus. Okay, here suppose this is point A, this is AP, and there is no prolapse, so this will be BA and this will be BP. There is no prolapse. Now ask the patient to cough. After the patient cough, then it will be like this will be the bladder, and initially we have this wall like that, now like this. Now it will become like this after the coughing, and patient was hysterectomized, and this is the rectum. Okay, and here we have seen that this point, which was initially AA, now moved here, and here it is AA, and this point, which was initially BA and now has moved after being prolapsed as, sorry, this is not BA, it is AP, and here it is AP. Now previously they were -3, now they will be +3. Okay, and with that we had the leading point C. This is the cervix, the most sorry, there is no cervix in the prolapse, but the most prominent and the most leading part of the prolapse is known as the C. And here, as the patient is hysterectomized, there is no D. And for example, if someone has given you, it is just an example, the total vaginal length as 8 centimeter, the perineal body which is 3.5 or 4 centimeter, or the general hiatus which is 3.5 centimeter. Now how can we make the grid? We will make the grid in the form of like this. Here is the grid. Okay, now here was the AA, which is now +3, the AA is +3, the AP is also +3, the BA is, so now the prolapse here, the BA will be whole of this length, so they have given it will be 8 centimeter, because whole of the part has is coming out, so it will be like this. And now C is the most leading part of the cervix, which was again 8, and general hiatus was 3.5 centimeter. The perineal body was also 3.5 centimeter, and total vaginal length was again 8 centimeter. And here we have seen that it was AP is plus 3, and again the BP is 8 centimeter, and there is no point D. Like this we make the grid, and this grid is more subjective, and it helps us to diagnose and manage the patient more appropriately. So how is the video? Like the video and subscribe the channel, and let me know what video you want me to make further in order to understand. Hope you understand this, and with more examples of making the grids we'll do another video. Okay, take care, bye bye.